plan. Move the last 16 clips up to V2. What in the Adobe just announced that they are introducing AI agents into all of the apps for the Creative Suite. So I have here Premiere Pro Beta. I went up here to the Open Assistant button, click that, and we have this now AI assistant. So let's see what we're working with here. Create a sequence from the highlighted footage. Each clip should only be 1 second long or shorter. Clips can be put in any random order. So let's say you're making like a music video or a highlight reel, and here's my highlighted clips, 32 clips selected. Then I'll shuffle and build the sequence, generating response. So it'll be nice to see if it's actually, if it like, you can see it happening on screen while you're doing it, but we'll see. Got all 32 clips. Now I'll create an empty sequence matching the footage specs. Nice, I'm glad it did that. I'd like to run an action, create. Okay, cool. It asks you before you start like doing things inside your project. So I'm gonna hit proceed. I'm assuming it made that somewhere. Oh yeah, the drip 1 second cut. So that is so cool. So I've utilized this project so many times for different tutorials that you can see up here that I've saved it so many different times. So it's called respect the drip _1_1_1_1_1. And it just created a sequence called the drip. No underscores, no respect the, it's just the drip, 1 second cuts. You pretty cool, agent. I would like to run an action insert clips to sequence. So this is still something where if you're a knowledgeable editor with the program, you would want to know what the term insert clips to sequence means. And that's basically when you're using the period or comma key to highlight something in the project bin, and it will automatically paste it down to the sequence. So I'm going to proceed. Done. Here's what was built. It gives you a synopsis of what it made. The drip, 1 second cuts, 32 clips, randomly ordered, running 30.7 seconds total, 30 clips exactly, 1 second each. Pulled. 2 naturally short clips are used in full since they are under 1 second, which is exactly what I was talking. I wanted to avoid it getting confused with some of the clips if they were under, but it told me that there were some of them. Clips with existing in-out markers. Oh, that's another thing. So I already had pre-existing in and outs on some of these clips. Let me see if it got, okay, so see up here on this clip 18, this already has an in and out for where I like the action. It trimmed the actions from within my in and out, which is good. We'll find out here. The sequence is now open in your timeline, ready for playback or further tweaking. So it's not open on my timeline because my timeline's right here, but that's okay because I can see the timeline right here. Here is the cut that they made for me. This is pretty cool. So yes, these are all random, but what it already proves to me, so this is kind of dark in thinking, but I know a lot of people need to do this, and a lot of them may not be video editors. So let me give you a circumstance. You have a family member pass away, and you need to, or you want to create a photo montage of all of the different photos that everybody gives you. If you're the person responsible for putting this video together, utilizing this assistant to do that, I basically just would have done the same thing, except taking all of this footage. I would have said something like, take these 500 photos that I selected, make them 5 seconds each. And what I would like to implement is maybe we could put the grow effect on all of them, so it gives that Ken Burns effect. But it just created that entire sequence randomly, which is something that was hard to do previously in Premiere Pro because there's no real way to kind of like randomize the photos. But here you can just ask the assistant, randomize this. And that could be used in infinite amount of possibilities if you just have some sort of highlight reel that you're trying to build and you'd like, I don't know what clips I want to use. Just say, take all these, put them in, and I did it for a specific second. Although it would be nice to know if I could add that grow effect. Add a grow effect to each clip and randomize the seed, called two tools. So get available edits. Got the effect in all 32 node IDs. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. Adding grow to all clips simultaneously now. Still generating response. I'd like to add effects, proceed. So there, it added the effect. Proceed. Oh no. Okay. So I have to hit proceed for every single clip, which is not ideal. I mean, it's the same as if you were adding the grow effect to each one, which, oh wait, always proceed. Okay. Oh, it already knew that. That's cool that it talks you through what it's doing. It looks like there's a stop button here. I don't want to hit it right now. Can we add another chat? What does this button do? One chat active. Could you have multiple things happening at once? Let's find out on this edition of Will We Crash Premiere Pro Beta. There is another, you can have more than one chat at once. Wow, that's cool. What? So let's just ask this AI agent to add a black and white effect to each. Nope, let's do it to the first half of the clips in the sequence. So one of the weird things about this is the black and white effect is actually with an ampersand. So let's see if it finds the black and white effect. This is kind of like semantics, but oh yeah, it found it. Cool. So this is doing this while the other one is doing, let me try a wider sweep of IDs for clip to find the its grow component. It's hitting a validation error on value types. So, okay, trying to do something with the grow specifically it's getting caught up. But if we go back over here, hey, it did the black and white. Reasoning, done. The black and white effect has been applied to 16 clips out of the 32, so exactly halfway through. Then it doesn't clip. Man, super excited. Done. Grow effect applied to all 32 clips in the sequence. Not done. Seed randomization. You'll need to do this manually in Premiere. To set random seeds yourself, it gives you how to do it yourself manually if it can't do it, which is nice. The fact that we could do two different tasks at the same time, probably even more, is also game-changing. So cool. Let's try and get even crazier with this. Can you create a split screen using the first half of the clips on the left side and the last half of the clips on the right side? Plan, move the last 16 clips up to V2. What in the dude? This will be interesting because I think it's going to split it 50-50. Let me start by inspecting the motion component structure and kicking off the track move at the same time. So I think it's going to scale them down to 50% on both sides, which is kind of like, I guess if you took my prompt at a literal face value, that's what it's going to give you. But man, this is insane. So before that's done, let me just hit stop. Good, the clips are moved. I need to confirm the motion components before writing parameters. Let me pull. So I'm anticipating that it's gonna do this wrong. I stopped it and let me just tell it, let me try and phrase this in a way that I want it to be, I want it to take up the whole screen. So how would I do that? Can it do it? Because this is taking a long time to think. But I'm wondering if I can take the very first two clips, show it what I want to do with the crop parameters, and then mimic this for the rest of the clips for V1 and V2. So let me go ahead and stop that. Take this, we're going to go to the motion parameters. We're going to crop right 50%. On this one, we are going to crop left 50%. Mimic the crop parameters of the first clip on that track, which is coffee clip _3. You know what? Let's start with that. Hit enter. I mean, I could manually do this much faster than what it's thinking, but I'm trying to get it to the point where can it put the action that's in the clip centered, because that's a lot of menial work. I mean, there could be, there is some creative work in there, but if this, I guess, works, that would be nice. No crop effect on either. The crop settings are motion intrinsic, scale and position. I'll use copy track item attributes with motion true only, so don't disturb black and white or grow effects. Okay, let's see how it did. Look at that. What? Hey, that is pretty neat. That is pretty cool. I don't think I ever would have made that by myself, but now creatively, that looks cool. Wow. I mean, just from doing that, I'm like getting ideas in my head of like, oh, that would look good with this shot. That would look good with this shot. Can you manually adjust the clips so that the important actions are fully visible on their respective side of the screen? If that makes sense. Whoa, okay. I get it, chat. What are we complaining about? This one I need to be upfront about. It's two problems stacked together. I'm currently blocked on the mechanical half. What I can do, render a frame from each of the 32 clips and make a creative read on where the main action sits in the frame for each one. When I'm blocked on, writing the position adjustments back. So it knows what I'm trying to do. Since all clips of each track share the same scale, you just paste attributed them. Okay, that's a little scary. Yeah, no, it's exactly like, look, it's like the AI knows that I know everything about how to do this faster, but it's like, dude, just do it yourself. Why don't you? Since all clips on each track share the same scale, you just paste attributed them. Like you did it. Why do you want me to do it? Like you already know what you're doing. You're only moving the position XY per clip to recenter the action. It's tedious for all 32 clips, but it's the kind of thing that generally benefits from scrubbing through each clip visually while you adjust, which is faster in the panel than describing each one to me anyway. I think it's basically just saying, hey, grab this clip, and if I were to go over here to the crop and then just click and drag, it's like, dude, you already know what you're doing. Like, you could do it better than I can. Just the fact that it knows that is insane. Oh man, chatbot's already getting like sassy with us. This is really cool. To be honest, I'm super excited about something like this inside all of the Adobe apps, and I think it speaks to just how you interact with a program moving forward in the future, not just with Adobe's programs, but I think with any program. What's going to end up happening is instead of really trying to internalize where certain tools and parameters are through, say, going up to File, Menu, or going up to View. If you want to see the guides, like Show Guides, Clear Guides, like knowing where these are in the menu system, I feel like in the future won't be as important because the way that you get to those parameters will be less about this stuff and more about just saying, bring up guides. Guides pop up. Add guide at 50%. Adds guide at 50%. Yes, you can type that in, but that was just a means of taking the information from your brain and utilizing it in the program. This will erase a lot of that friction that's there between the ideas that you have and implementing them within the confines of what a program can do. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I still have a job on YouTube teaching things because this is great for the software. Not so much for YouTube tutorializers of the software because you can probably get a lot of your answers a lot faster from chat. So what do you think about that, chat? Until next time, I hope you're out there living a life of abundance. Obviously, what I just said wasn't really coming from a life of abundance, but we'll see how this goes out in the future. My name's Javier Mercedes, and I hope you're out there living a life of abundance. I just said that twice. I'm gonna leave it in. I'm super rusty. I haven't posted for a while. Been working on a lot of personal projects, but yeah. See you guys next time.